Hello everybody, this is Clayton Watts with I'll Eat Your Mom's Bass. Today is one of the first of many tutorial videos that I'll be doing. This one is going to focus on a Carolina rig. Now, a Carolina rig is a method of bottom fishing. There are various ways you can make a Carolina rig. This just happens to be my way and the way I prefer it. If you guys have any other suggestions or your own ways of making the Carolina rig, feel free to comment or send me a message and let me know. As you know, I'm always open to keep learning. I got a trout pole over there right now, and I got a trout pole right here out. So we're just out here at the lake, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. Now, one more thing, another person that you can look into is Roland Martin. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of Roland Martin. He has a couple of videos on doing a Carolina rig and how to fish it. Briefly go over the synopsis of kind of what he's talking about. He dives into the fact that with this exact way of fishing, you can get a good feel for the bottom of the lake wherever you are fishing. After a while of doing it, you can start determining what's a log, what's some brush or grass down there, what's a rock, you know, certain things like that. My ideal way of doing it is I'll cast it out. Sometimes you'll see me pull out line. Sometimes you'll just see me just let it fall freely. It's really depending on how fast the current is. Let it go out slowly, it's going to drift more with the current. If I pull it out faster, it's going to drop faster. So that's kind of why I do that. The next thing is, you know, when I get to the bottom, I always let it sit, count in my head 10-15 seconds. There's a good chance of it getting a good hit right on the drop. The bass see it coming down, they see it break the water, float down, and they see it hit the dirt, making, you know, a little dust cloud. You just want to leave it there for a second. Then you can start dragging it. I prefer the drag method. Sometimes I'll, you know, jig it to the side, but the whole point of it is to try to make a dust line prior to the actual bait so that fish has something to see, track, follow, and get. And so a lot of the times, you know, once you start doing it for a while, you can feel yourself start to brush up against a rock. A lot of the times it's the actual weight brushing up against the rock, and so it's kind of hard to snag if you're not intentionally trying to snag something down there. But that's why I use bullet weights, because it is easier to get out of rocky areas and stuff like that, which I do fish a lot out here in California, lots of rocks. Wanted to get into the setup just briefly. I know we went over the Revo earlier, but this is strictly a Carolina rig setup that I use. It doesn't have too fast of a retrieval speed, but it also doesn't have too slow of a retrieval speed. When I do get bigger fish on, I like the ability to kind of horse them in if I need to. But let me tell you people, I've literally had a double-digit catfish get foul hooked on this setup, and I fought that thing for a good 5-10 minutes. And when I finally brought it up, I realized it was hooked into the back fin. I have another video showing that whole experience. Now, I'm gonna get some hate in the comments, I'm sure. I run anywhere from a 40 to 50 pound line, strictly because, like I said, I fish a lot of bottom fishing, so I'm in the grub, I'm in the brush, and I'm in the bushes and the rocks and whatever else is down there. So a lot of the times when I do get snagged, look, I don't want to be going over tying a Carolina rig setup each time, 2 beads, a bullet weight, a swivel, all that stuff over and over again. So I'm going to make sure that my test is on the stronger side to really be able to power myself out of sticky situations when I need that. First thing first, you're going to grab your test line, okay? What you're going to do is feed the bullet weight in the tip, pointing the tip, okay? When you reel it in, you want the tip of this bullet weight touching the tip of your rod. And all you're going to do is you're going to let that go. let it slide down, doesn't matter. Now you're gonna get your beads. Now beads have two purposes. One, they help with clamoring and clapping and clacking and smacking and all that stuff down up underneath the water. They make noise, so I prefer to have two, just to double up on the noise factor. But the other part of it is that they're also used for protecting your knot. So you put these on after the weight. They smack up against the weight, smack up against the swivel, but they also protect the knot connecting to the swivel to make sure that nothing comes across and breaks it. The weight doesn't get caught on to the knot. You know, it's an extra protective measure because, like I said, this is a bit of more heavy dutier type of fishing. Don't know if dutier is a word, but there you go. So I'm just going to slide one on there and let it slide down to the weight. Slide one on there, let it slide down to the weight. Now what you should have at this point is something looking like that. I think that's pretty. It'd look a lot better with the smaller weight, but I need to get some depth out here today, so I'm tying on a good size bullet weight today. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your swivel. I know, heavy duty or swivel, but you know what? I've caught bass on all these weights, lines, swivels, so be it. So usually when I'm tying to the swivel, I do a polymer knot. If you guys don't know what a polymer knot is, all you're doing is, I just botched that, but all you're doing is, my hands will work, put it through the hole, okay? You get the end that's cut, and you feed it back through the hole, right? What I like to do is I take my finger here and I pull more line out, because, you know, I'm not the best, so I just make sure I have plenty of line. So now you're going to hold the cut end with this finger to the connected line and the loop on this end. And all you're going to do is you keep that together on this end, all right? You're going to go around, wrap it once like that, go up underneath like that. So now you just have a simple tie, and you're going to go over the swivel, all right? This. And when you tie it, make sure you get that little loop there. Boom, polymer knot. So now you have this. Maybe you'll see it a little better, just like that. All right. Bullet, beads, swivel. Not too worried about that little line there. That's okay. Any bigger than that, I'd be concerned, but I'm not too worried about it. Now for the leader line. So your leader, you know, I usually use mono, but I recently ran out, so this is what I got for today. It's 10-pound fluoro. I use anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds. I really don't need anything more. Sometimes I'll go even lighter than that if I really am looking for floating sensation. Some of my worms that I use float pretty well, so that's the preferred method when I'm using something that really floats. But yeah, usually anywhere from 10, you can use 12, 15. That's about the range I stay for the mono when I am using it. I want it to have a little bit of fight if I do get snagged, but not so much that I'm like risking breaking my main line, and also not so little that as soon as I get snagged, if I pull, it's going to snap off. That just makes no sense. So all kinds of methods here. Sorry, I'm just looking at my setups. Figured if I don't get a fish in about a half hour here, I'm gonna switch spots and try somewhere else. I got some time today. I just want to make sure making use of it. So for the leader line, it really depends. Sometimes you can go about a foot. Sometimes you can go about 2 feet. I know some people that go 3 feet. 3 feet's a little bit long for me, so I'll usually just add a little bit of extra just in case for the knots. And I'll do about, say that's close to a little over 2 feet. So we'll start there. Got that. Now you got your leader, okay? You tie that. Now for this one, I'm just gonna use the uni knot. Uni knot I could tie very quickly. I've tied thousands of them, I'm sure, at this point. All you're gonna do here is you're just gonna grab both ends. You're gonna put it together, okay? So now you got, you're holding it like that. The loop's going through the swivel. You got pinched both ends of the lines. You're gonna pull the shorter end up, and you see how it makes that swivel go up closer? So you're gonna pull that short end up, right? You're gonna go around this finger. Remember that, that's a very important step. Around this finger. And you see how I went and grabbed it? So now you're just gonna spin it around. 2, 3, 4. I usually stay about 4. Now remember that loop that you had around your finger? You're gonna find that loop on your finger. You still wanna pinch it. You're gonna put the line straight through it and pinch it with your other fingers right there. And then simultaneously start pulling. Now if you wanna keep a little bit more line, you pull just one side, and boom. That is a uni knot. Alright, cut that line right there. Now, you just need one more thing. What is that? The hook. Most important part of fishing. So, as far as hook applications go, I've fished many hooks with this application. I use Carolina rig more than anything, just what I'm comfortable with. I'm learning other styles, but this is just what I'm comfortable with. My go-to is just going to be always the sickle hook. It has a nice V shape down here. When you set that hook, the lip stays right in the middle there. If you got a good hook set, it's right in the middle. So when you get it, you'll see me a lot of times in the video struggling to get the hook out. That's because there's such a good divot right there for the lip that it is really hard to lose the fish when you're fishing with this style. Obviously I use weedless for obvious reasons. I fish wacky a lot, so it's okay for my style. I prefer just a nice metal weed guard to go out there. It helps with a lot of the stuff on the bottom. Like I said, very obvious, but very important. And I trialed and errored a lot of times, so you guys wouldn't have to. So you can get these on Amazon. They're just straight up, just type in sickle guarded hooks or V hooks, and you'll get something similar to this. And I would suggest this is the route you go if you're gonna go fishing like this. So all you're gonna do is that same uni knot. Like I said, I mean, sometimes I'll do a polymer knot if I'm like low on lures, but right now I'm just trying to get myself in the water. So 3, 4. I'm gonna go in through the loop and grab it. You're gonna cinch that up. You can add water, you can lick it a little bit. That's what she said. But you're gonna tie that up and boom. That is money. Alright guys. You're all set right here. That is a, if I can find my damn weight. That, my friends, is a certified Carolina rig setup. You got your weight on test, 2 beads to a swivel, polymer knot to the swivel, uni knot to the lead, all the way down to the hook. Now, last but not least, the worms. You can use a crazy amount of different type of worms. You can use, you know, big, these are like 8 inches, 7 inches. These have some float, but not a lot of float. I fish these a lot in the springtime and in the winter. You know, you got green pumpkin on top with the red flake, red and black on the bottom. These things are killers. The number one worm I use, and the number one worm that I suggest to people for right now, is going to be the Zoom trick worm. Green pumpkin, I don't know if you guys see that, green pumpkin, red flake. That's the important part. Green pumpkin, red flake. These worms look awesome. I love them. Bass love them. I love them. So you got the brown, obviously, the green pumpkin. Now the important part that really kills it is that red flake. Okay? That red flake is the important part. You can get the regular green pumpkin, which I also have, and those do work because the fish love the brown. But the red flake is the part that really, really makes a difference. I've caught fish. This is my go-to thing. I've caught fish when nothing else is biting, nothing else is working. This is the one to go to. And boy, does it look good in the sunlight. So, you know, when I go to new lakes, lakes I've never been to, lakes I don't even know what they're eating, this is one of the things I throw to see if I can garner myself a bite. So this is what's going on today. I usually fish wacky rigged. I go right for this fat part in the center right here. Not exactly in the center, but you know what I'm saying. Right, this fat part right here. And then go right through. Boom. And you want to get the fat part right about there. Make sure your weed guard is on. And you got yourself a certified Carolina rig ready to catch some fish. That's money right there, y'all. That's money. You'll be catching fish in no time. Remember, drop it to the bottom, let it sink, feel the bottom, cast in the same areas over and over until you understand what that bottom feels like, and then fish for the brush. If you get yourself stuck in a brush or a bush, let yourself stay there. The fish are there. Just let yourself stay there. You find yourself in the middle of a couple of rocks, stay there. It's the weight, which means the worm is trailing behind it. That's money. Before they had fish finders, I'm sure this is the way they did it. Because you could tell your structures and everything when you're fishing with the Carolina rig. So go for it, guys. Try it out. Give it a try. Comment, like, subscribe, follow. Let me know how it worked out for you. Remember, it's wintertime right now, so it's tough fishing. But give it like 2 months, this thing's going to be fire. You'll be getting a bite almost every cast. Promise you guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, I'll eat your mom's bass at no cost to you. Got one. There we go.